So here I have my two back and front shorts pieces, and I have two for each, two for the back and two for the front, and I have left half of an inch allowance all around this pattern except on the waistline. And the reason is because I have left enough allowance on the waistband, which you can see here. My waistband is 2.5 inches wide on fold, and the length is my hip measurement plus 1 inch seam allowance, and I've interfaced it as you have noticed. I also have my two turn up pieces for the bottom of my shorts, and they are 2 inches wide by the length of how wide my shorts, the bottom of my shorts are. I also have my pocket lining pieces, and I've also left the same half of an inch allowance all around except on the waist. Now I'm going to start working from my the front part of my shorts pattern. So as you can see, it's two as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to pick up my shorts, the pocket piece, and I'm going to place it the curved area. I'm going to match it up with the curved part of my front shorts piece. So I'll just place it like this. Just watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just carefully watch what I'm doing, and you can also read the notes I have made beside in this video. So I'm going to be sewing on the part that is curved, that's curve of the pocket. So I'll be sewing by half of an inch as you can see me doing. So now after I'm done sewing, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be making tiny cuts around this curved area. This is because I would need to flip the pockets to the other side, because I actually sewed it right side facing right side. So when you're placing yours, it should be the right side of the fabric facing the right side of the pockets. So now I'll go ahead and top stitch. And while top stitching, the side I'm going to be top stitching is the side where I have the pocket. So don't top stitch on the side of the shorts. Top stitch on the side where you have the pocket. I hope that makes sense. So this is me top stitching. So when I'm done top stitching, I would go ahead to take it to my ironing table, and I'm going to iron this part as you can see me trying to do. I'll iron it so that it will look really neat. The secret to having a nicely finished garment is ironing. So iron as much as you can. I know it can be tiring, but just take your time and iron as much as you can. So here I have it nicely ironed. So I'll take the second piece of my pocket lining, the part that does not have any curve, and I'm just going to place it on top or on the back side of my short piece. Now this is the back. I'm going to place it right side. The right side of this lining now is going to be facing the right side of the previous lining that I have installed already. Can you see? So this is how it looks like when I place all of them together. This is what it looks like at the back. And now I'm going to be sewing the bottom part to hold the two pocket lining pieces. Can you see what I'm showing you? So I'll be sewing that part just to hold the two of them in place so that they stay together. After sewing it, I'm also going to be running a zigzag stitch just to finish off the raw edges so it looks nice and neat, because at the end of the day we are trying to achieve a nicely finished work. So I've sewn it, and I've also used my zigzag stitch to finish off the raw edges. Now I'm going to be holding this part, the side of the pockets in place by sewing it, and also the part that passes through the crotch line. I'm going to also hold that place down with a stitch. So you can just watch what I'm doing so that you understand what I'm saying. So I've held that part in place. I'll need to hold the other part in place as well. By the way, I pinned it down so that I'll have a nicely finished work. So I'm now sewing the curved area down just to hold it together with the pocket lining piece. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So that's it. I have my pockets held in place nicely. You can see everything is coming together nicely already. You can see the pockets. The pocket is all formed and nice. So now I'm going to take my back piece. As you can see, this is the back piece of my shorts, and I'm just taking out the pins. When I'm done taking out the pins, I'm going to place it on top of my front piece, which already has the pockets installed. And the parts I'm going to start sewing first is the sides. That is the side seam, the outer seam side of my shorts piece. So I'll match the side of the back piece to the side of the front piece, just like I'm doing here. and I'm going to be placing it right side facing right side. I hope you understand. So I'm placing it right side facing right side, and I'm going to be sewing the sides. So please take note of this. The first place you want to sew is the side of the outer seam side of your shorts or your trousers, as the case may be. But in this case, making shorts. So I'm just holding it down with pins so that it stays in place and doesn't move while I'm trying to sew. So now I'll go ahead, head over to the sewing machine and sew it. After sewing it, I would also go ahead to run a zigzag stitch as well. So here I'm done sewing it and I've also overlocked it. So I'll just open it up so you can see what it looks like. So you can see how it looks. We also need to iron it. Look at, I'm just so proud of my pockets, as you can see. So I'll take it to my ironing table and iron it. I've ironed it and it's flat. The side is flat. So I'll now be working on the bottom part of the shirts. As you can see, I have my turn up piece. So I'm going to be placing this turn up piece. I'll be placing it raw edge of the short piece. I hope you understand. So here I'm placing it on the back. You can see the turn up piece is on the back side of my, that is the wrong side of my fabric for the shorts. Can you see? Don't place it on the front. You will not achieve what you're trying to achieve. So place it on the back and then I'll just sew them together. If you do not understand what I'm saying, you can just watch what I'm doing. You would understand. Just watch it carefully and you will definitely understand what I am on about. So here I'm done sewing it and I've flipped it to the front. You can see it's beginning to make sense. Can you see? So what I'll need to do next is to take it to my sewing machine, to take it to my ironing table rather, and just iron it nicely. So now I'm done ironing and I'm going to just top stitch the upper part of my turn up piece, just to hold it in place. So I'll be top stitching it by like half of an inch or less. I'll show you what I mean when I'm done sewing. So I'm done top stitching and this is the outcome. You can see it looks nice. You can also iron it as well. So next I'll be sewing the inseam area of my shorts. This is the inseam area. I'll be running a stitch here. So I'll run a stitch and I'm also going to run a zigzag stitch as well. You can use your overlocker if you have one, but if not and you have a zigzag stitch, you can just finish off the edges just to make it look neat. So here I'm done joining the inseam area of my shorts. Note that whatever I'm doing on one side of my shorts, I have also done it on the other side, okay? But in order to save time, I'm just showing you one side. So this is the two sides here. After I'm done joining both the outer seam and the inseam areas and installing the pockets, this is what it looks like. It's beginning to make sense. So now I'll join it like this. Just watch what I'm doing. I'll just take these two parts and join it together and I'm going to pin it like this all the way to the back and also all the way to the front. So now I'm done pinning. You can see what it looks like. I'm just going to show you. This is what your shorts should look like. So I'll just sew it. After sewing, please do not forget to overlock it or use your zigzag or whichever method you want to use to finish off the raw edges so you have a nicely finished work. And also do not forget to iron. Ironing is very important. Helps to give your garment a really nice and neat finish. So this is what it looks like when I'm done sewing and overlocking. You can see how neat it is and our shirt is coming together so nicely. So what we need to do next is to install our waistband. So our waistband is going to be a shared waistband. That means it's going to have elastic in it and we're going to be running a stitch in the middle of the elastic. This is what I mean. So first, as I told you before, my waistband is the length, the width of my hip plus one for seam allowance. So I'm just closing up the seams by half of an inch. So by the time you close it, you would have taken up that 1 inch. So I went ahead to iron it flat, as you can see. And now I have my elastic. So now my elastic is actually 26 inches because my waist is 28. So I just took out 2 inches and there you have it. That's my elastic. So I'm sewing it together. I use a zigzag stitch to sew it together several times, as you can see. So now I'm going to put it inside the waistband. Okay, I'm tucking it inside the waistband just like this. Make sure it goes inside, like inside, really inside to the end, as you can see me doing. So now, starting from that inside part where I pushed in the waistband, I'm going to be sewing 1 inch downwards from here, 1 inch, just like I'm showing you. Can you see? So I'm going to be running a 1 inch wide stitch all around. As I'm doing it, I am pulling the elastic slightly. Okay, so you pull it so that it has this shared effect. You'll see it when I'm done. So pulling it gently, pull gently as you pull the elastic only, not the fabric. So you'll be pulling on the elastic as you sew. You sew the 1 inch wide stitch. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just pulling on the elastic and sewing until I sew all round. So this is what it looks like when I'm done. You can see how nice it looks. So at the bottom you can see I have these raw edges. So I'm just going to hold them together and I'm just going to run a stitch on it just to hold those two pieces together so it doesn't stay open before we join it to our waist, the waist of our shorts. So remember I told you that the shorts, I did not use the waist measurement for the shorts. I used my hip measurement. So the elastic is going to help it come together to fit the waist because the shorts is actually a bit free and we want to add elastic to it. So there was no need to use our waist measurement for the waist of the shorts. So that is why we also cut the waistband to our hip measurement, but the elastic is going to help it to fit on the waist. Okay, so now I'm just going to pin the raw edges of the waistband to the raw edges of my shorts, the waist of my shorts. So I just pin it around. You can see. So I'll just sew it by 1/2 inch. So I'm sewing it now, and after which what I'm going to do next is I would also use a zigzag stitch to finish off the raw edges. Like I said, you can use your overlocker, you can use your bias just to finish off the raw edges so it looks really nice and neat. We're all about neatness here. So that's it. Look at what it looks like. Nicely finished. We've attached our waistband to the shorts and our shorts are ready. Easy peasy. So have a look. If you have any questions about this video, you can just drop it in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Please give this video a thumbs up if you gained something from it. And do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.